It's Thoughtful Thursday, a space to slow down and unpack books that ask the deeper questions about life, meaning, and what really matters. Hey friends, welcome back. Marmie here. Quick question. Have you ever found yourself halfway through something, a relationship, a job, even a group trip to IKEA, and deep down you know it's not working, but you keep going anyway? Why do we do that? Why defend decisions we don't believe in? Copy crowds we don't even like? That's what today's book is about. The Art of Thinking Clearly by Rolf Dobelli. A Swiss author and entrepreneur, Dobelli gently but firmly invites us to look at how our brains quietly trick us into making irrational decisions every day. Don't worry, I'll walk you through the good stuff. There's a mind map on screen to show how the ideas connect. No psych degree needed, just curiosity and maybe a cup of coffee. Here's what we're doing today. We're exploring one big idea, that our brains are still wired for a very different world than the one we live in now, a much older world. Think fire pits and predators, not credit cards and dating apps. Everything we'll cover, black swans, herd instincts, sunk costs, comparison traps, flows from that central tension. Stone Age brain, modern world problems. Let's start with a bang. The black swan. Dobelli opens with the idea of rare, unpredictable events that completely change the game, like a global pandemic, a 22% market crash in a single day, or J.K. Rowling becoming a billionaire from a book about a boy wizard. Before 1697, Europeans believed all swans were white, until Willem de Vlaming saw black swans in Australia and shattered that belief. The point? Just because something's never happened before doesn't mean it can't. The problem is our brains hate unpredictability. They evolved to spot patterns and avoid danger, not to forecast earthquakes or viral videos. We plan for what we know, but we live in a world full of unknown unknowns. And when those hit, they hit hard. Just sit with that. What would it mean to expect surprise? Now, when surprise happens, or even when it doesn't, there's a deep part of our brain that immediately looks sideways. What's everyone else doing? This is social proof, herd mentality. Monkey see, monkey do, but make it psychological. Thousands of years ago, this saved lives. You're walking with your tribe on the savannah and everyone suddenly runs, you run too, no questions. That delay could get you eaten. Fast forward to now, we're still copying, subtly, instinctively. Dobelli shares Solomon Ash's classic experiment. Actors in a room purposely give the wrong answer, and a third of real participants go along with it, not because they believe it, but to avoid standing out. It's why a crowd at a rally can roar yes to something dangerous, even when individuals might feel no. The herd feels safer than the truth. These aren't just fun facts, they're pressure points in how we live. Which brings us to sunk cost fallacy. The tendency to keep going with something just because we've already put effort into it. Dobelli tells a story where his wife insists they sit through a boring movie because they'd already spent $30. Relatable. But that money? Gone. Staying doesn't get it back. This is where the ancient brain shows up again. We hate waste. We hate being wrong. And deep down, we think persistence equals value. But today, that instinct can cost us more than movie tickets. It can cost us years in the wrong job, tens of thousands in bad investments, or a future we didn't go after, because we clung to a past we already knew was over. Even wars. Dobelli notes how the US kept escalating Vietnam, not because it was working, but because too much had been invested to quit. Sometimes the strongest move isn't to push forward, it's to let go. Not easy, I know. I've tried walking away from an empty cardboard box before. Still think about it. Okay, Let's talk about something sneakier: reciprocity. If someone gives you a little gift, like a flower at the airport or a free sample, you immediately feel a subtle pressure to give something back. That instinct, it's ancient. You shared your meat today, your neighbors shared theirs next week. No one starved. But in a modern economy, that instinct gets hijacked. A charity sends you a postcard and you feel guilty. A salesperson offers a no-pressure gift, and suddenly you're buying something just to be polite. What's wild is you're not thinking this. It's happening beneath the surface. That's your brain doing ancient math in a modern mall. All right, let's layer on another emotion: envy. Dobelli isn't judgmental about it. He says envy used to be useful. It drove people to hunt better, build stronger, earn status. But now it looks like hating your own perfectly fine shoes because someone else got newer ones. It looks like finally affording your dream apartment, only to realize your neighbors have a private elevator and an espresso bar. And it's not always petty. It hurts. It eats your joy. There's this old story Dobelli shares. A farmer asks a genie to make his neighbor's cow die, just so they'll be equal. That's envy in action. Not building your own life, just making sure no one else has more. All right, time for a mid-episode stretch. So far, we've looked at black swans, rare, chaotic events we can't predict, social proof, following the crowd even when it's wrong, sunk costs, clinging to what we've already paid for, reciprocity, the guilt loop of favors, envy, the silent tax on your happiness. All of it comes back to one thing. Your brain is trying to survive in a world that no longer exists. Let's keep going. Next up is chauffeur knowledge, and it's a juicy one. This is when someone sounds smart but doesn't actually understand what they're saying, like memorizing answers for a test but not understanding them. Dobelli tells the story of Max Planck, the Nobel-winning physicist. His driver, after hearing the same lecture dozens of times, could recite it perfectly. One day, they switched places, and the driver pulled it off, until someone asked a question. You see this with news anchors, influencers, sometimes even professors. Confidence without depth. The takeaway? Don't be dazzled by the suit. Look for the substance. Last one, liking bias. We are more likely to trust, buy from, or believe people we simply like. It could be someone attractive or just someone who shares your hobby. It's the car salesman who remembers your name and favorite tea. It's Joe Gerard, the most successful car salesman in history, who mailed his customers monthly cards that simply said, "I like you." Dobelli shares a story of a friend who closed a $10 million deal because he and the client both loved sailing. No pitch, just real connection. Sometimes we think we're making decisions based on logic, but really, we're just vibing. Okay, that was a lot. Let's land this with a recap and a little reframing. Every trap we've talked about, surprise blindness, herd behavior, overcommitment, emotional debt, envy, flattery, it's not because we're dumb. It's because we're smart animals running outdated software. Your brain is ancient tech trying to solve modern problems, and somehow you're still making it work. But once you see the glitch, you can stop letting it run the show. So how do we do that? First, play devil's advocate with yourself. When you're about to make a big decision, especially under pressure, pause. Ask, am I reacting from instinct or responding with intention? Second, simplify your criteria. Instead of chasing perfection or comparing endlessly, get clear on what really matters to you. Define your enough, choose it, own it. That's the heart of Dobelli's message. When we understand how our minds work, we stop being tricked by them, and that is the art of thinking clearly. As always, if you want to revisit this, the mind map and summary from today's episode are totally free to download in my Buy Me a Coffee shop. Links in the description. If you want to support the channel, you can toss a coffee in the jar while you're there. And if you're curious to read the full book, you'll find my Amazon affiliate link below too. Take care of your thoughts. Your brain means well, even if it's still running on dial-up in a Wi-Fi world. Marmie out.